Bethesda games are about to change forever, or more specifically, Bethesda Game Studios games are about to change forever. So with the release of Starfield being right around the corner, we're about to enter a completely new era of BGS games. We've kind of seen this before, but in a much more minor sense, if you will. We saw a huge upgrade in Oblivion, and it really did change Bethesda games for a very long time. And then we saw even more slightly smaller changes in Fallout 4 with the settlement building mode, which of course Bethesda tested in Skyrim's Half-Fire DLC, and we've now seen that build mode get added to Fallout 76 and of course Starfield. The whole point really is just that Starfield really might change Bethesda games for at the very least the foreseeable future, because so much of Starfield is different to previous Bethesda Game Studios games. So if everyone loves Starfield, it's pretty clear that it will set the path for Elder Scrolls 6 and even Fallout 5 and so on and so forth. We've very clearly seen with Starfield how Bethesda are happy giving us a lot of empty land with mostly just resources, as long as they still have their same amount or even more content than usual in the game, and I honestly don't care much about that. Starfield is it's supposed to be a somewhat realistic space game, and most planets are empty, so this doesn't bother me. But if we do take all of the rumours and leaks of Elder Scrolls 6 into consideration, it does look like it's going to be Hammerfell, which is basically a fully desert map. So instead of a map like Skyrim's, where there's content on every corner, we might see, yes, still a lot of content of course, but again, Hammerfell was a big desert, so we could just see a lot of empty land there. And if you believe the leaks and rumours that we'll be sailing the seas in Elder Scrolls 6 to travel from Hammerfell up to High Rock, that's a lot of empty ocean too. Look, whether you like or dislike this, it does prove the point that yeah, if Starfield is as successful as Bethesda and we are all hoping, it's pretty clear that they'll use the same kind of mechanics and tools to create the Elder Scrolls 6, which they've already started, and even Fallout 5 like I mentioned earlier. Of course we do need to also talk about Creation Engine 2 as well. Bethesda have said that this is their biggest engine upgrade since Morrowind to Oblivion, and that's pretty huge and it is pretty obvious too. This engine upgrade really did change the way that Bethesda created their games for well over a decade. In this upgrade engine alone we got Oblivion, Fallout 3, Skyrim, Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, and that's 5 games. So Creation Engine 2 will definitely be the engine that Elder Scrolls 6 runs on, but it's possible that even Fallout 5, which is like 15 years away, is still running on this engine. And again, look, whether you like or love or hate or dislike this, whatever, is besides the point. The point I'm trying to make is that we might see huge landmass in the future Bethesda games, like we're getting in Starfield. Starfield's spaceships and spaceship customization might even push Bethesda into putting usable boats and ships into the Elder Scrolls 6 and even let us customize them. And this is a bit of a stretch because we just can't even imagine this game yet, but we could even get cars or motorbikes in Fallout 5. Again, we can't even imagine what Fallout 5 will be like anyway, because as I said earlier, it's at the very least 10 years away, which yeah, really sucks. Like that's such a punch in the dick to hear. But again, we just can't even imagine it. We have no idea what video games will be like in over a decade's time. But on top of all of that, a lot of people are looking at AI now and how it would really help Bethesda speed things up. And we all know the wait for Bethesda games is just nothing short of ridiculous, but if they got some realistic AI voices, this would heavily speed up the process. We wouldn't need to wait for thousands and thousands of lines of dialogue to be actually recorded. Starfield has over 250,000 lines of dialogue, which is insane. Imagine how long that alone took. With AI, we could cut this down to like 10% of the time. And yes, look, I know a lot of people have some negative thoughts of AI doing things like this, because yes, of course it does stop people from getting jobs, but I'm not here to discuss that. I'm just talking about what realistically is probably going to happen in the future of gaming. My big point with this video is that Starfield tells us a lot about the future of Bethesda Game Studios games, and I don't think that we're talking about it enough. We can already see the changes coming into effect. We had settlement building in Fallout 4, people enjoyed it, but I think that we all agreed that it needed some big improvements, to say the least. and they improved it with Outposts in Starfield, and I will bet any money right now that we get a building system in Elder Scrolls 6 because of this. And I know that some of you might hate it, but I love it. I really enjoy building settlements in Fallout 4, and honestly, how cool would it have been in Skyrim if we could just go back to Helgen and rebuild it and become the Jarl or something. As long as Bethesda make it make sense, I wouldn't mind a building mode in Elder Scrolls games. Look, the same kind of thing would have happened with Fallout 4's voiced protagonist too. If everybody praised and loved it, you can bet that Starfield would have had a voiced protagonist. Bethesda improves with every game, at least in my opinion. Even Fallout 76 brought back some features that people complained were missing in Fallout 4. Fallout 4's perk system had some mixed opinions, of course. It's like 50% hated and 50% loved. I am one of the people that like Fallout 4's perk and level system, but because of the mixed opinions on it, Bethesda of course have found a way to mix it into a skill system like Skyrim's system, and put what looks like the best perk system they've ever had into Starfield, right? So you see my point here. It's sort of like Fallout 4 having less companions than Skyrim, but Fallout 4's companions being a lot more in depth. We're sadly getting even less companions in Starfield, but we can assume because of that they're going to be even more in depth than Fallout 4's, right? Bethesda changes with every game and tries to adapt to what the fans want, but Starfield is so vastly different to anything that they've ever done that if it's received well, it will shape the future of the way Bethesda creates their games for the next 10 or even 20 years until they have yet another big engine upgrade. It's kind of crazy to think about, honestly. And look, Starfield looks amazing to me, so if it inspires the next Elder Scrolls and Fallout games, you won't hear me complaining. Even the melee combat in Starfield looks massively improved upon from Skyrim and Fallout 4's. The hits are actually hitting, and it sounds and just feels more realistic than previous Bethesda games. Again, we can assume that this will be improved even more in Elder Scrolls 6. So hopefully you can see my overall big point now, in that Bethesda games are about to change forever once Starfield releases. So let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. You know I always love to hear your thoughts, and of course please do drop the video a like for me if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel and myself more than you can imagine. And of course if you are new around here and you do want to stay updated on all of the latest Starfield, Elder Scrolls or Fallout news, leaks, discussions, speculation, breakdowns, whatever it is, and plenty more, please do consider subscribing. We'd love to have you join us and help us reach our goal of 8,000 subscribers. Lastly, as always, a massive thank you to the channel members for sticking with me month after month. You guys absolutely rock, and I could not do this job without you, so thank you all so much again. But with all of that said and done, I thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Peace.